The air is thick, heavy, and hot. You feel a dry wind whip across a vast open plain carrying the scent of dust and strange resinous trees that look like overgrown pines. This is not a lush tropical jungle. This is ancient Patagonia, 97 million years ago, during the late Cretaceous period. The sun beats down from a sky that seems impossibly large, and in the distance a winding river glints, the only lifeline in this semi-arid world. Giant ferns and unfamiliar flowering plants cluster near its banks, but out here, the world is painted in shades of brown and dusty green. Ever wonder what it truly felt like to stand in the shadow of a living giant, to feel the air itself vibrate with its presence? We'd love to know where you're watching from today, and which incredible prehistoric creature has captured your imagination. Let us know in the comments below. Now, let's journey back in time and uncover the story of a lost world. You are standing on the southern supercontinent of Gondwana, a landmass that has long since fractured into South America, Africa, Australia, and Antarctica. This is a different branch of life's tree, a separate evolutionary stage from the lands to the north. And here, in this immense wilderness, evolution has produced its own titans. As you scan the horizon, you begin to understand the sheer scale of this place. The silence here isn't empty. It's watchful. It's the kind of quiet that precedes a storm or the arrival of a king. And in this kingdom, the king's name is a testament to its power and its place. The name scientists would one day give the ghost that haunts this landscape is Giganotosaurus carolinii. It sounds complex, but it's a beautifully simple and direct clue to its identity. Giga means giant. Noto means southern. And Saurus, of course, means lizard, the giant southern lizard. It's less of a name and more of a title, a declaration of its dominion over this specific part of the ancient Earth. It wasn't just a giant, it was the giant of the South. As you stand in this prehistoric expanse, the name hangs in the air, a perfect description for the apex predator of this lost continent. You feel a low, resonant tremor through the soles of your feet. It's a rhythmic, heavy beat that travels through the baked earth itself. It's the first sign that you are not alone, and that the owner of that powerful name is near, staking its claim not with a roar, but with the earth-shaking certainty of its every step. The rhythmic tremor intensifies, and then, from behind a grove of towering primitive conifers, it emerges. The source of the ground-shaking footfalls is not just a dinosaur. It's a walking mountain range of muscle and bone. You instinctively try to process the scale, but your mind struggles to find a comparison. This is Giganotosaurus, and it is immense. Stretching over 40 feet from snout to tail, it's as long as a city bus, a predator built on a scale that defies modern imagination. Its head is held nearly 2 stories in the air, scanning the horizon with an unnerving stillness. Yet, for all its size, there is an unexpected sleekness to its form. Unlike the famously robust build of the later Tyrannosaurus, the giant southern lizard is more athletically built, a colossal marathon runner to T-Rex's heavyweight boxer. Its power is in its length, in the massive stride of its 3-toed feet, each step a testament to its rule over this continent. Your eyes are drawn, almost magnetically, to its head. It is an enormous elongated skull, easily over 5 feet long, so vast that an adult human could comfortably lie down within its length. From this distance, it appears to be a solid mass of bone, an unstoppable battering ram. But this is one of nature's greatest illusions, a marvel of evolutionary engineering. Were you to see this skull up close in a museum, you'd realize it is not solid at all. It is riddled with large openings called fenestrae, natural windows in the bone that dramatically reduce its weight without compromising its strength. This isn't shoddy construction, it's genius. It's the same principle as a modern bridge's support beams, achieving maximum strength with minimal material. This elegant architecture made the skull shockingly light for its size, allowing Giganotosaurus to move its head with surprising speed and agility. It didn't need a thick neck of solid muscle just to hold its head up. This design tells you everything about its lifestyle. Its eyes are positioned on the sides of its long snout, giving it a wide field of vision perfect for spotting movement across the open plains. Its huge nasal passages suggest a highly sensitive nose, capable of tracking prey for miles on the hot Patagonian wind. This was not a slow, plodding brute. It was a dynamic, surprisingly nimble giant, and its head was the perfectly engineered weapon at the forefront of a 10-ton hunter. As it turns its magnificent head, you see the glint of something long and sharp within its jaws, the true business end of this incredible creature. The giant lowers its enormous head, and for a moment its jaws part slightly. The glint you saw before is now revealed in its full, terrifying glory. You are looking at a mouth lined not with thick conical spikes, but with rows of 8-inch long serrated blades. Each tooth is flattened from side to side like a dagger, with a sharp curved edge designed for a single devastating purpose: slicing. This is the critical clue that separates the giant southern lizard from its more famous northern counterpart. While Tyrannosaurus rex evolved a bite that could shatter solid bone, its teeth were like railroad spikes set in a hydraulic press. Giganotosaurus was armed with something more akin to a set of perfectly honed steak knives. This was not a crusher. This was a slasher. You are witnessing an entirely different predatory philosophy at work. The long, narrow snout and the structure of its jaw muscles tell a story of speed over brute force. Its bite was powerful, certainly, but it wasn't designed to hold on and crush. Instead, the strategy is one of shocking efficiency, more like that of a great white shark than a land-based predator. Imagine it in motion. It would surge forward, using the agility of its surprisingly light head and powerful neck. It wouldn't need to grapple with its prey. It would simply drive that mouthful of blades deep into the flank of a victim, using its momentum to pull back, creating a catastrophic wound. The serrations on the teeth would do the rest, tearing through muscle and flesh with terrifying ease. This was a hunter that played a waiting game. It didn't need to win the battle in the first instant with a bone-shattering clamp. Its weaponry was designed to inflict massive trauma and blood loss, to weaken an animal far too large to be taken down with brute strength alone. Once the damage was done, the Giganotosaurus could follow at a distance, its keen sense of smell tracking its wounded prey until it collapsed from shock and exhaustion. This wasn't just mindless aggression, it was a calculated biological strategy. As the giant closes its mouth, the deadly armory is once again concealed, leaving you to wonder, what kind of creature lived in this world that would require such a specialized and lethal set of tools to bring it down? The answer to the question of its weaponry doesn't lie with the Giganotosaurus itself, but out on the vast, sun-baked plains it calls home. Your gaze shifts from the predator to the distant landscape, and you see something that makes the giant southern lizard seem almost reasonably sized. It's a herd of sauropods, but the word herd feels inadequate. This is a slow-moving forest of flesh and bone. You are looking at Argentinosaurus, one of the largest and heaviest land animals ever to walk the earth. Each one is over 100 feet long, weighing up to 100 tons. Their pillar-like legs support bodies the size of houses, and their long, sweeping necks rise like cranes into the canopy of the sparse forests, stripping them bare. The very ground hums with their passage. They are living ecosystems, mountains of life that seem utterly invincible. And in their existence, you find the reason for Giganotosaurus. You are witnessing the spectacular result of a prehistoric evolutionary arms race. For millions of years, the plant eaters grew, their size becoming their primary defense. What predator could possibly threaten an animal that was as heavy as a dozen elephants? The answer, of course, is a predator that also grew, one that evolved specifically for this monumental task. You don't evolve a 40-foot-long body and a 5-foot skull full of serrated blades to hunt small game. The very anatomy of Giganotosaurus is a direct response to the titans it shared its world with. Its existence is proof that no matter how big the shield, nature will always forge a sharper sword. The slashing bite you saw earlier now makes perfect, terrifying sense. A bone-crushing attack would be useless against the colossal leg bones of a full-grown Argentinosaurus. It would be like trying to bite through the trunk of an ancient redwood tree. But the Giganotosaurus wasn't aiming for the bones. Its strategy was to inflict deep, grievous wounds into the mountains of muscle on its prey's flanks and legs. Its teeth were the perfect tools to cause massive bleeding in an animal so large its heart was the size of a small car. This was a battle of attrition. A war fought between biological titans where the weapons were size, stamina, and the deadliest bite the world had yet seen. As you watch the lone Giganotosaurus shadowing the immense herd, you realize the sheer audacity of it all. But it begs a new question. Could even a giant this formidable truly take on such prey by itself? That is the question that elevates Giganotosaurus from a simple monster to a subject of fascinating scientific debate. The image of a lone hunter against a 100-ton sauropod is breathtaking, but perhaps it's incomplete. As you watch the giant shadow its prey, you notice another movement at the edge of the plains, then another. The possibility arises that this colossal predator did not face its titanic prey alone. The key to this theory lies not in speculation, but in clues etched in stone, found millions of years later. In a different part of the world, a fossil site revealed something extraordinary. The remains of multiple individuals of a close relative of Giganotosaurus, all buried together. Large carnivores are rarely found in groups. They are usually solitary, territorial animals. Finding them together suggests something more was happening. This single fossil discovery opened up a revolutionary new way of seeing these creatures. Was it a family group that perished together in a flash flood? Or is this a snapshot of their social lives, evidence that they lived, traveled, and perhaps even hunted together? If you apply that logic here, on the plains of Patagonia, the entire dynamic of the hunt changes. Taking down a healthy adult Argentinosaurus would be a near impossible task for a single predator, no matter how large. But for a pack? For a family unit of Giganotosaurus working in concert, the odds shift dramatically. You can almost see it unfold. 3, maybe 4 of these giants emerging from different directions. They are not a chaotic mob. There is a terrifying intelligence in their approach. One might faint from the front, drawing the attention of the colossal herbivore, its huge head and gaping jaws a terrifying distraction. As the titan swings its immense neck to face the threat, its flanks are exposed. The others surge in, their slashing bites creating devastating wounds in a coordinated assault. Together, they could separate a younger animal from the protection of the herd, harry it, and bleed it, their combined efforts overwhelming its defenses. This vision transforms them from solitary hunters into the Cretaceous equivalent of a wolf pack, but a pack where each member is the size of a bus. While the evidence is not definitive, the logic is compelling. The most formidable prey on Earth may have required the evolution of the most formidable cooperative hunters. The vision of the hunting pack fades, the thundering footsteps dissolving into the silent wind. The ancient world recedes, but you remain in the same place. The hot Patagonian sun still beats down. The dusty plains still stretch to the horizon. But 97 million years have passed. The world is now quiet, empty of its former titans. It is 1993, and the ghosts of this land have kept their secrets buried deep beneath the earth. But secrets, given enough time, have a way of surfacing. You are now following the journey of not a scientist, but an amateur fossil hunter, a local car mechanic with a deep love for the history of his homeland. He drives his dune buggy across this desolate landscape, his eyes trained on the ground, searching for any hint of the world that was. One day he spots something. It's just a fragment of bone, pale against the reddish-brown rock, but it's large, unusually large. He begins to dig, his curiosity turning to excitement, and then to utter astonishment. What he unearths from the eroding soil is a leg bone, a tibia, and it is immense. He knows his dinosaurs, and he knows this bone is significantly longer than the same bone in the largest known specimens of Tyrannosaurus rex. This is the moment the ground shifts, not from a dinosaur's footstep, but from the weight of a world-changing discovery. The official scientific excavation that followed was a slow, delicate process. Paleontologists arrived and worked for weeks under the harsh sun, carefully brushing away the stone that had held the bones captive for an eternity. Bit by bit, the skeleton emerged. A spine, massive ribs, and then the prize, the long, gracefully lethal skull. When the dust settled, nearly 70% of a single skeleton had been recovered. The world of paleontology was stunned. For decades, T-Rex had held the undisputed title of the largest terrestrial carnivore. This discovery, made not in a famous fossil-rich area, but here in Patagonia, by a man whose passion was a weekend hobby, presented a new challenger to the throne. It was proof that a whole other family of giant killers, the Carcharodontosaurids, or shark-toothed lizards, had produced a predator that rivaled and perhaps even surpassed the tyrant king in size. The giant southern lizard was no longer a ghost. It was real.
Wow.
The skeleton of the giant southern lizard now stands mounted in a museum, a silent testament to its former power. But it does not stand alone. In the public imagination, it is forever shadowed by the ghost of another giant, the one dinosaur that rules our modern world, Tyrannosaurus rex. The discovery of Giganotosaurus immediately sparked the ultimate question: who was the true king of the dinosaurs? The answer, you begin to realize, is not as simple as a tale of the tape. In length, Giganotosaurus has the edge. It was almost certainly a longer and perhaps slightly taller animal. But T-Rex was built on an entirely different chassis. It was a heavyweight, vastly more robust and muscular, and likely carried more mass than its sleeker southern counterpart. Their weaponry was also a world apart. You've seen the blade-like teeth of Giganotosaurus, perfect for slashing through flesh. A T-Rex's jaws, in contrast, were a biological machine of pure destruction, capable of the strongest bite force of any land animal in history, designed to splinter and pulverize solid bone. Even their senses were differently tuned. The forward-facing eyes of T-Rex gave it excellent binocular vision and depth perception, ideal for a close-quarters brawler. Giganotosaurus, with its eyes further to the side, had a wider field of view, better for scanning vast open landscapes. So, who would win in a fight? The fascinating truth is that they never could have met. They are separated by over 30 million years of evolution and the vast ocean that once divided the Americas. Asking which one was better is like asking if a shark is better than a lion. Each was a perfect predator, the undisputed apex of its own unique time and place. Giganotosaurus was the masterful titan slayer of Gondwana, engineered to bleed the largest animals that ever walked the earth. Tyrannosaurus was the bone-crushing tyrant of North America, the final and most powerful expression of its lineage. The legacy of Giganotosaurus is not that it dethroned T-Rex, but that it revealed the story of the dinosaurs was far grander than we knew. It proved that evolution had produced more than one kind of king, on more than one continent, in the epic, sprawling story of this lost world. And so, the dust of 97 million years settles once more over the Patagonian plains. The thunderous footsteps have faded into a profound and lasting silence, leaving behind only the wind and the whispering ghosts of a former age. These bones, once clothed in flesh and driven by a primal will to survive, are now our only tangible connection to a planet that operated on a scale we can barely comprehend. They are a humbling reminder that our own time on this earth is but a fleeting moment in its vast, deep history. The story of Giganotosaurus is not just about a single animal, but about the enduring power of discovery, the thrill of unearthing a secret that the world has held for an eternity. And it leaves us with the quiet, persistent wonder of what other giants, what other lost stories still lie waiting beneath our very feet.